And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome one and all to episode 522, the Jaguar edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, well, what can I tell you? They love me in Jacksonville. We have a great show for you planned for episode 522, but, of course, we want to introduce the posse. First, our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Back and better than ever, I hope.
Yes, we missed you. Two podcasts. We missed you for two podcasts, and now you're back. So, welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. And someone who's always back, and that is Dustin. Hi, Dustin. We got your back.
Hey, I feel like miss is a strong word, but we noticed he was gone.
You know what? Will. I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right.
We got the memo that you were not here, Will.
Yeah.
And we noticed it.
Yeah.
So what else we also noticed is, of course, Statsman Mark. Hi, Statsman Mark.
Yeah, I'm impossible to miss, I'm afraid.
Indeed,
anyway,
you are.
Yes, let's see here. Well, lots of news for me. It's funny, even though Matt isn't here, I can still hear him laughing at my trivia record.
Yes.
I mean,
Nice.
when you suck, when you're worse than the Browns, man, that's I got some reflection. Not only that, but furthermore, I am carless right now because my head gasket to the Ultima blew, and that is all she wrote. So instead of a GoFundMe, I'm gonna GoFund myself through teaser cards, and
that's great. We can do a GoFundMe for you if you wanted.
Well,
but
Moses, you'll appreciate this. The other day, I saw a 1988. What was that called? The Ford Escort. Yes.
Oh, I had one. I had a 1988 Ford Escort. I'm not lying.
I'm wavering on it because it's kind of light pink. It used to be a Molly-made car, so I got more homework to do.
Kind of reminds me of the car I drove in high school. It's an '81 Plymouth Reliant station wagon.
Oh,
The
Reliant. Nice.
I drove in high
That thing
school. I
would
drove
decelerate going downhill.
a 76 buckskin tan Buick Skylark.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Nice.
I think it was a 71, and it was a Plymouth Valiant, which was kind of a bootleg Dodge Dart. It had Scamp on the side of it, and it was missing a quarter panel. It was nice.
I had a Plymouth
I love these
Valiant after
names,
the buckskin
Valiant.
tan, and it was a Valiant, and it had a slant 6 in it. If I don't know what that means, but apparently that's impressive. I could out drag race a lot of people, but anyway. All right. So enough about cars. This is not about cars. It's about Seahawk football
And cars. Sorry.
and cars. Michael Bolt,
Dee-dee.
get us going.
Boys, let's get to it.
Yes, let's get to it, shall we? It shows we're like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and a halftime. Quarter 1, Will with the news. Quarter 2, a recap of the Seahawks victory over the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. And at halftime, the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Oh, the world.
Of the world. And Matt is not here to keep the crown. We'll talk about Matt here in a minute. Quarter 3, Jaguar info. And there is the new ride for Zorny right there. Apparently
Apparently, it's an 18-wheeler.
it's an 18-wheeler, and while he's getting in an 18-wheeler, I'll tell you the fourth quarter, we put everything together, and we have our predictions for this game coming up between your Seattle Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before we start, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the new Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. A lot of fun on there. Please join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We're putting a lot of silly stuff on there. There's a great game day thread, and also on Twitter and on email. Let us know your thoughts there, but before we get to the news, I do have a couple shout-outs.
Hey, can I do a shout-out? Shout-out.
First, a shout-out to Matt from Merry Old England, who usually joins us. Matt could not be here due to, well, let's just say he's having a hard time with his jaw right now, and I'll let your imaginations go with that where you want.
Oh,
oh dear.
In all seriousness, Matt, we hope you feel better soon, and we can't wait for you to rejoin the show very, very soon. So, best wishes, Matt. Hope you're doing well. And another shout out I have is about episode 521, last week's episode. Someone called JP Too Slow 1980 made a comment on our video, and he said, "You guys are idiots."
Thank you.
And
woohoo!
he's right, but he goes on. Eagles have massive injuries, but I get it. Any excuse you can find when you lose. We didn't lose. So I don't know. This was written like the day before the game. So if JP Too Slow 1980 is out there, somebody might want to tell him that we didn't lose. But okay, fine. You're right. We're the idiots. Hey, let's get to the first quarter in news, shall we? Yes, news from around the NFL with our news hound, Will, brought to you by this week's sponsor, the LeGarrette Blunt Crow Roaster. That's right. Nothing special. Just eat your crow like LeGarrette Blunt. Will, what you got for us?
Let's see. I hope I can do this. Get back on the horse and all that.
Take it easy. We're with you.
Well, Moses,
I think they finally outlawed that in Washington, though.
Enum Claw, anyway.
Right.
But Moses, the Jacksonville Jaguars are full of baloney. Not that they're saying or doing anything out of the ordinary. They're just literally full of.
They're full of baloney?
Yes,
Yeah.
This is because of their coach, Doug Marrone, who said after the win over the Chargers on November 12th that he absolutely loves baloney. I just love it. I love it, he said. I bet you I can be the bologna-eating champion of the world. I bet you I've eaten more bologna than anyone in this world.
Ew.
Apparently, his celebratory meal after a game is a bologna and cheese sandwich, either regular or fried. Well, the Beef Checkoff and National Hot Dog and Sausage Council decided to get some free marketing, and on Wednesday delivered 100 logs of Boar's Head beef bologna to Everbank Field, where the Jaguars are located. Every coach and every player got a log, which weighs 3.5 pounds.
Oh my gosh!
So
Just stop right there. They got a
350 pounds of bologna. Change hands
crap.
here.
That's a Yuletime bologna log.
That is, yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Here's your bologna.
Wow.
I didn't know
being a
people
champ,
still
that's
fry
crazy,
bologna.
What was
People
that?
They still fry bologna. I can't believe it.
I never have. I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you.
That's
I
old
could never
school.
be the bologna-eating champion of the world. It's just not a goal
No,
of mine.
I am not a fan. I mean, I used to be.
I don't think I could take down Doug Marrone myself.
No.
No. I'm more of a turkey kind of fan. Sliced turkey for a sandwich.
Yeah, me too.
Especially the last few weeks.
Zordy, what's your thought
Right.
on thought on bologna?
First, I must apologize for the 18-wheeler. It's amazing the incredible buzz mode on this phone. Anyway, yeah, that only happens when somebody tips me. With all this baloney going around, yeah, it's we'll get to that later. Well, we know it ain't Strawberry Fields, first of all. That much,
Yeah.
And does his baloney have a first name? That's right. So
I
is
think it's
CAR.
CAR, yeah.
Okay. And it has
Every
a
time I
second
hear
name.
his name, Doug, do you remember the show Muggsy Malone? It was this really old, it was like these kids were
I do
gangsters. It's way
Oh.
back.
I remember Muggsy Bogues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I always think
Played
of
for
Doug
Charlotte.
Marrone instead of Muggsy Malone, but it's all right. I'm the only one that does
Or
that. so
My
let's move on.
Marona instead of
My
My
Marona!
Sharona.
Oh my God! My
bologna.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
My
Weird Al redid
Bologna.
that one.
Perfect. There you go.
Yep, there's always a Weird Al.
I love
Yeah.
it. My Marona. Oh, that's got to be done. All right. What else got to be done, Will, on the news?
Well, drinking, apparently. This actually does have a connection to this story, because apparently former Washington Redskins running back Clinton Portis told an NBC affiliate in Washington, D.C. that for a while he, Santana Moss, and the late Sean Taylor would take a shot of Hennessy before most games. They would say that it would help calm their nerves and with all the water and all the physical exertion, the alcohol would go through them quickly. So it's not like they were getting very drunk during games.
Sure.
And apparently this went on for about a year and a half until then head coach Jim Zorn found out and put a stop to it. So, Zorny, I love you, but you're a buzzkill.
Yeah, I mean,
Zorny's a buzzkill. Who knew?
Dude, those guys are, a lot of them are 200-pound plus athletes. That one shot is not going to do anything to them. They're not going to feel it, really. It's just a taste. It's more of a placebo for their head.
Yeah. That's true.
So, yeah, hippie Zorn. You should have let it go.
Yeah, really, man. I bet if they were doing other things other than Hennessy, let it go.
But I think if Coach Zorn had put a little piece of bread in each of their mouths first,
Yikes!
Followed it with a chaser of bologna.
We all know of his faith.
You know, even the drummer is saying, looking at me like, I'm not rim shotting that. Don't make me rim shot that.
Don't make me
prison
angry.
all of a sudden?
Don't make me rim
like
shot.
me when I'm angry.
That's what Matt said.
All right, there you go. You get it.
Oh
my God! Wow. Yeah, a little shot of Hennessy before the game. I guess that's kind of funny that they did that for a long time before people even knew what they were doing. It just makes you wonder where they were and what they were doing when they were doing it. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe full of crap. I don't know. Hey, Will!
Yes.
Thanks for the news, man. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
All right. That's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this special Jaguar edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, halftime trivia, what to see in Jacksonville, as we have a travel guide. But next, we take a look back at Sunday night's win over those Eagles right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Don't cost nothing.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
All right, welcome to the second quarter of episode 5.2 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. The second quarter, we always look back at the game from before. And in this case, it is a Seahawk victory over the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football, 24-10. A huge victory for the Seahawks in many respects. Will, what are your thoughts about the game?
I thought it was an amazing game. They did exactly what I wanted them to do, come out and get points early, not dig themselves in a hole like they did with Atlanta. Of course, extremely impressed with Russell Wilson, who isn't these days.
Yeah.
And I thought, the defense, they bent quite a bit at times, but did not break. And, that forced fumble by Sheldon Richardson, that kind of harkens back to, all of Earl Thomas's forced fumbles right before the end zone, and how this team really does defend every blade of grass. And the crowd was electric. I mean, it felt like 2013 all over again. And it's
it did.
Great time at the game, great game, and hopefully a sign of things to come.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. A lot of positives you mentioned there a little bit. I love Will Hoyt blocking the guy before he jumped on the ball. Though if he had jumped on the ball, probably got a touchdown. But making sure the Eagles didn't recover the ball was huge, I thought.
And we're smart enough not to bat it out of the back of the end zone this time. Because we learned that was a penalty last
time.
Yeah, even though that went flying off his foot.
The badminton tap. I love that.
I think careened off Will Hoyt's foot, went like 5 feet in the air. Did you see that? It's crazy.
That was weird. Will Hoyt didn't even know where it was. It's like, well, I can't get the ball, so I'm going to block this guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he blocked it.
That was heads up play.
Yeah. It was nice. Dustin, what are your thoughts about the game? There's a lot to talk about. Good.
Well, kind of like Will, I really, really liked the difference early on. As far as the tempo and the play calling and everything with the offense. Russell wasn't trying to launch it 30 yards downfield at the beginning at every play. We weren't trying to run and establish the run game and just hit a wall and not have it happen for the first half. I like the fact that we went out there, and the first play of the game was a quarterback keep, designed run play for Russell Wilson, throw everything off, and then a lot of shorter plays to get him in rhythm, a lot of little slants and stuff like that, get him in rhythm, get a couple yards, stay on schedule. That was great. I thought that was a brilliant idea to come out and do that, and I hope they continue to do stuff like that throughout the year. Defensively, they played pretty well. Held the Eagles to 10 points. Nothing wrong with that, especially as high-flying as they've been. And overall, it was just a good team win. A lot of smart heads-up plays, and only 2 penalties, if I remember correctly. So that is huge.
Well, 5 penalties, but for us, that's still
it's so good.
Substantial improvement.
It's like 2. Defensively, by the
way,
I
saw the 5 backwards. That's all it was.
Yeah, well, five penalties for us is like 2 for any other team. So
defensively, the Eagles had 7 drives in Seattle territory and only had 2 scores. The Eagles managed only 128 yards at halftime, and Wentz had 45 yards passing at halftime. That is spectacular. That really is.
Good defense.
Yeah, Zorny, a lot the praise here, right?
Well, yeah, and everyone touched on some good things. What I'm reminded of, the thing I was harping on, again, we all see this, but I can't think of any other team in the league going back, I don't know how many years, that relies or benefits from early momentum more than the Seahawks. It's just incredible when they actually score 7 points in the first quarter for a lead or to tie the game or maybe, whatever the case may be. When they can, open up the game with some points, it just uplifts the whole team, because otherwise, when they don't or it's a slow half, the game just seems to drag on forever. It's either early momentum or nothing's going to happen until 5 minutes left in the third. So this team, it was live. I think that, obviously Sunday night, prime time, I think, that helped fire everybody up. I still think we would have won this game, I guess, if it's like a 1 p.m. start, but sometimes afternoon games just kind of have a lull to them, prime time. It's, everyone's watching, and
you have more time to get shots in before the game.
Well, there's always that. There's always that. Well, you can do what you want. No,
I love how you drag the rest of the show with us. That's great.
But it was just it was just nice to see. It felt like a few years ago, and it just was like, wow, here we go. We got some points, and they just stayed after it. So.
Well, and the crowd was absolutely spectacular, and it's been a little underwhelming the last few games. I think sometimes at times that not Sunday night. It was fantastic. Hey, I'm gonna give the Eagles some credit. There's a reason they're 10-1, and Carson Wentz played, even though he only scored 10 points and he only had 45 passing yards in the first half. That dude is something special. They're very lucky in Philadelphia to have him. I think. Couple plays he made were just amazing. Third and long, he hit the one on 3rd and long, and of course the one where he basically threw it up for grabs. And
the series where he torched Maxwell twice.
yeah, that too.
Well, to be fair though, there's only a couple quarterbacks in the league that could have made that first throw.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching that one. It's like, I want to be mad, but damn.
You can't.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
You can't. He is a very good quarterback. I think we have the better quarterback of the two, and I think that was shown too.
I was impressed by their resolve, man, because at the beginning of the game, they hadn't given up a touchdown in the first quarter of the entire season. So when we're out there, we're driving and we're playing, I was like, man, just get that first touchdown in the first quarter. Throw them off. They're in a hostile environment. Start the doubt early. Make them not believe they're going to win, because we're going to test their character. They're used to kicking everybody's ass. Let's see what happens when they don't and things start to go wrong. And they had a terrible first half. We had a good first half, and they stuck with it, man. Hats off to them for showing some strong character.
I think we saw a lot of character from both sides, because when they scored, I said on our game thread, okay, it's our MVP's turn. I mean, it's 17-10. We need to answer this, or it could get nasty.
Yep.
And Russell did.
And really quickly too, we're still a few games away from the playoffs, but it's going to be really interesting too. Remind me, I like Wentz a lot. I great composure. I think he's a good leader. But when the playoffs come, and if we see the Minnesota, I won't call them plural like those announcers do. We see Minnesota, Philly, and New Orleans in the mix, and we're in the mix. I'm really curious about the lack of playoff experience for Wentz and Case Keenum and how they handle the bright lights, because for as much as for all of our weaknesses and for all of my complaining about sorry guys, we have a way. We have Russell Wilson, and the clouds part and the golden light shines down. It's like a joystick for PlayStation, whatever, and he escapes everything, and we win. And so Philly and Minnesota, I think I'm going to just be curious about their playoff experience. And New Orleans just looks weird to me. I don't know what's going on with Breeze. That was a very lackluster game against Atlanta last night. But they, of course, have the experience too. But it's kind of the perspective for me is changing a bit, because I'm thinking our experience can overcome a lot of the deficiencies that we still deal with.
I agree.
Mark, to your point though, if the Eagles do go far in the playoffs, I think a large part of it is going to be because they had a playoff game type atmosphere here.
Yes.
I think, we'll see what happens with this Eagles team going forward, but it wouldn't surprise me if they take the lessons from this game and actually it's a bit of de facto playoff experience right there.
If you're an Eagles fan, this is the best thing that could happen to you because you don't want to go in the playoffs with a 14-game win streak or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's too much. It's just too much. And so this is the perfect time to get reminded that, hey, there are good teams out there. I'm just curious who's going to get home field advantage because if we got it, man, I mean, I just don't know if we're enough of road warriors to win 3 games if we have to go on the road.
We'll have to see.
But hopefully we get it.
I think Minnesota is probably going to end up with it, honestly. But I love your line that we got a Wilson. That reminded me so much of Tony Stark in Avengers when he's like, we've got a Hulk.
We've got a Wilson. And that Wilson, since the bye week, in 7 games since the bye week, that Wilson and this offense have averaged over 25 points a game. So, we were giving the offense a hard time, and then we give the running game a hard time. But like you said, with a Wilson, you have a chance. So just a really, really good game from beginning to end with the home crowd sound like 2013. The team feeling like 2013 without some of their heavy hitters, no Cam Chancellor, no Richard Sherman. It's exciting to see where this team's going to go. Where we're going to go right now is to end this week's game discussion over the Eagles with a Caption That Picture. Yes, we take a picture from the game from the week before, and oh look, it's 2 Eagle fans from last week, and they don't look really very happy. Mark, Statsman Mark, caption that picture.
All right, caption that picture. Ebony and no, sorry.
Oh wow!
I want to hear you hit the high note. Hit it.
Oh, I was cracking. No, it's just it's from one to the other, whichever you choose. Honey, there's just no such thing as polishing this bird. Sorry.
Can't polish a bird. Will?
Instead of, well.
No, sing. Come on, let's get the ivory out. And ivory.
I started cracking like Peter Brady. I stopped.
It's time to change.
Ooh.
Cracking like Peter Brady. Yikes. Will, caption that picture, please.
Galilean transformation, my ass.
Nice.
Nice.
Dustin, caption that picture.
That's a kiss cam fail.
I have 2. Actually, I have 3. I'm going to give you 3. One is him. This is probably not the good time to remind her that I bet $300 on this game.
Yeah.
And her. Now he thinks he's going to get some after-game pity sex, I suppose. Drag me out to Seattle in the cold for this crap. Who does he think he is? Why, I don't. And my favorite. Worst first date ever.
I hate Kinder.
Hey, Moses, I got one more for you all of a sudden. He didn't go to Jared.
There you go.
Wow.
But he's going to Jared next week.
Anybody else? Did anybody else think that that dude looked like a 40-year-old Cam Chancellor?
A little bit, yeah.
A bit, yeah.
A bit. Yeah, she did not.
I was like, holy crap, is that his dad?
I just hope, I honestly hope they didn't fly all the way from Philadelphia. I really hope that they are from the area and they're just big fans. And, oh, man, because that's going to be an awkward evening in the hotel. All right. Speaking of awkward evenings.
Welcome to the 12th Man Fan.
Welcome to the 12th Man Fan Show. Let's go to 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
All right, let's check our posse prediction challenge. First on the scores from last week. 3 points to Little Mo, Mark Tite Turner, and Statsman Mark for saying the Seahawks would score 24 points. I get the 2-point bonus because I had a 14-point win for the Seahawks, and that's what happened, which is pretty cool. And a point to Mark Tite Turner for the best score. He had 24-20, and it was 24-10. That's pretty good. Prognostication, 3 points to Tom. Russell Wilson more than 75% of the yardage. Kind of a weak one, Tom, but we'll give it to you. Also, 3 points to Mike, saying the Seahawks got 2 sacks. And Little Mo saying Wagner's got 10 more sacks. Also a little weak, but we'll give it to you. For the game ball, a point to Jose, Tom, Mike, Will, Dustin, and Matt for Wilson. I don't know what I'm going to do about that because you could almost have Wilson every week. A point to Little Mo, Mark Ty Turner for Wagner. The over and under was under. A point to Mark Ty Turner and Statsman Mark. Individual scores. Little Mo won the week with 7. Way to go, Little Mo. Mark Ty Turner 6. Statsman Mark 4. Tom and Mike 4. Moses 2. Jose, Will, Dustin, Matt 1. Scores overall. Mike Pascal continues the lead. 34-31 over Will. 28 Jose, 25 Moses, 22 Statsman Mark, 21 Dustin, 18 Tom, 16 Matt, and 16 Mark Ty Turner, and 16 Little Mo, meaning with just, 4 games left to go in the season, the scores are Team 12, 112, Team Posse, 115.
Hell yeah.
3-point lead, gentlemen.
31.
By being awesome.
I think lucky is more accurate, but
I've actually managed to score more recently. I was stuck at like 10 points forever, it seemed, in this thing.
We almost need to, like you were saying, you can pick Russell Wilson every week. We almost need to not have it be, like, put a rule up there. No more picking Russell Wilson, no more picking Bobby Wagner.
We might do that next. It's
like Wheel of Fortune, where everyone was picking
RST,
LNE, and it's like, nope, we're going to do these automatically.
Well, we'll talk about changing the rules next year, but we'll go ahead and write this out.
I just mean for the rest of this year, man. It's too easy with those.
See, listen to them. Changing horses in the middle of the stream. All right. Speaking of streams, it's halftime.
I don't know what that means. I'm not from Indiana.
I'll explain it to you later.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
Hey! Coming up, so much more show. Will the Seahawks continue to roll? Will the Jaguars show that they are for real? All these answers and so much more around the corner. But first, I'll explain to Dustin what my phrase meant at halftime and between the breaks. But first, it's another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next!
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome once again to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
of the world.
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Dustin, Statsman Mark, and Will, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, as you know, the Mosette and Little Mo did take this quiz, and you can ask them once during the first 2 rounds. The topic is obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars and Jacksonville and Jaguars. I'll just leave it at that. 2 questions are football, 1, not so much. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do tonight. Just because our champion isn't here.
Oh, you can't switch horses midstream, man.
I'm not. You've learned. You have much to learn, young Dustin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Mark pick 1, 2, or 3. Mark 1, 2, or 3.
I'll probably get this wrong also, but I'll go number 2.
Mark will go number 2. Will, 1 or 3?
3.
And that will leave Dustin. Dustin, the win.
Question about Jacksonville.
No, yours is a football question.
All right.
Well, it's about Jacksonville, too, but it's the Jaguars. All right. And your question is this. The first time the Seahawks played the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Brian Blades, Joey Galloway, or Chris Warren? Hello!
Oh,
How you like that list?
Blades
Most
is
receiving
steel.
yards the first time they played. Brian Blades, Joey Galloway, or Chris Warren?
The Jaguars have been around that long?
Yeah.
Since 95.
Holy shit. I'll say Galloway.
You'll say Galloway. Well, Little Mo said Galloway. Mosette said Chris Warren. You said Galloway. Joey Galloway with 114.
Woohoo!
Brian Blades 43, Chris Warren 52, and Dustin has a point.
Has one.
One. Yep.
He has one. Mark.
Yo.
Also a Jacksonville question. Will, congratulations. All right.
Just like old times.
Just like old times. Mark, the first time the Seahawks played the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, that same game, how many touchdown passes did Rick Meyer throw? Oh, my God.
Oh,
the original
man.
number 3. 1, 2, or 3.
Wow.
Rick Meyer, how many touchdown passes against Jacksonville? 1, 2, or 3?
Oh my goodness. No,
It's
there's
like,
no,
you remember the MTV commercial where this girl's sitting there and she goes, wait a minute, you mean Ringo and Paul McCartney and John Lennon were all in a band before? That's like someone right now is going, wait a minute, someone else on the Seahawks wore number 3 before Russell Wilson? Yes, it was Rick Meyer, unfortunately. 1, 2, or 3 touchdown passes. How many against the Jaguars?
Well, there's no time to wallow in the mire.
Thank
We
you,
did
Chris
for a long
Berman.
time.
I have one of his practice jerseys still somewhere around here.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Oh my God, that guy. You know what? We'll just. He himself was kind of a turd, so I'll go number 2.
Damn.
That's the first time we've had that reasoning for an answer. That's
I
awesome.
love that reasoning. Mosette said 1, Little Mo said 3, you said 2 because of your reasoning. Yeah! It was 2. And Mark has a point by being rather cruel to Rick Meyer. Okay, Will. Will, your question.
You're the shit, man. You're the shit.
Yeah.
And somewhere Matt is spitting out teeth. He's laughing so hard he got that right.
Probably. Hey,
We love
Will.
Matt.
Yes.
Sorry. Some of these questions make me laugh. Oh, hey, until 1822, the city of Jacksonville was known by another name. What was the name that Jacksonville was known for before 1822? Was it Calford, Fishford, or Crabford? Calford, Fishford, or Crabford?
Could you repeat those? I'm sorry.
Calford, Fishford, and Crabford. What's wrong? Is your Google not working?
Hang on. Type.
I'm just ordering trophies. Don't mind me.
And not after this question. I'm going to go with Calford because I don't have a damn clue and I got to pick something.
Gotta go for Calford because he doesn't have a damn clue. Mosette said Calford and shrugged her shoulders. Little Mo said Crabford. You said Calford. Yes!
Oh, wow.
It was Calford because they had a very large amount of cattle that came across. In Jacksonville,
then.
of all places. I know, right?
Yeah, I just don't picture that.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell they thought real hard about that one.
And if you look at the pool in the stadium, they still have the cows. All right, we'll move on. I went there.
Dude.
Yeah, I said it. I'm not afraid. They love me down there. Okay, 4, 5, and 6. We will go first with, I guess we'll same order. Mark?
I'm going to go number 6.
All right. Will?
Heart in throat, I pick number 4.
Dustin gets number 5. All right, Will. Same thing. You are a football question.
Yay!
Has to do the last time the Seahawks played the Jaguars in Seattle, which was 2001. The first time, sorry, not the last time. The first time. Yeah, we take it back. The first time the Seahawks played in Seattle was 2001. How many touchdown passes did Trent Dilfer throw? 1, 2, or 3? Trent Dilfer.
Can I just say really quick, it's a shame Matt had to miss this show.
I know!
Because I'd like to hear him say Jaguars all evening.
Jaguars.
I
I should be doing the whole show in an English accent.
That was a pretty good game.
He loves my accents.
I'm gonna ask the kids.
You gonna ask kids? Little Mo said 1, Mosette said 2. Nobody said 3. 2001, how many touchdown passes did Trent Dilfer throw against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Now, that was a pretty good game, and what the heck? I'm gonna go 3.
What the heck? Go with 3. He went with 3. Nah, it was 1. Just 1.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just 1. Sorry.
Guess the game wasn't that good.
No. Dustin, you have a Jacksonville Jaguar question. Mark, you're welcome.
Sweet.
Dustin.
Yeah. I didn't think you could do that a second time. Guys.
Yeah, you can. The last time the Seahawks played Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, both quarterbacks, Byron Leftwich and Matt Hasselbeck, were sacked the same amount of times. How many times were they both sacked? Once, twice, or 3 times?
3, I believe.
Oh, wow. 2005, first game of the year. Remember,
I'm saying I believe because that's what I said, so I believe I'm right.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that a play on number 3 there?
No, not at all. I was just trying to sound confident.
You remember that game? Josh Scobie kicked off to Josh Scobie. Remember that?
Oh yeah, 2005.
Because, yeah. Our returner was Josh Scobie we just got him from the Cardinals, Scobey, and the other one was kicker Scobie, Scobee. That's what I remember from that game.
NFL history was made that day.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. You said three times they were sacked.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you're right. 3 times they were sacked.
I believe I was right.
I believe you were right.
Well, we all do now.
All right, Mark. You get the fun one. Here it comes. Jacksonville was not really known for films. However, a famous horror film was actually filmed in Jacksonville. What was the name of the famous horror film filmed in Jacksonville? Was it The Alligator People, Creature from the Black Lagoon, or Deliverance? What was filmed in Jacksonville, Florida? Alligator People, Creature from the Black Lagoon, or Deliverance?
I'm going to say Creature from the Black Lagoon.
You're going to say Creature from the Black Lagoon.
He's seen the pool, too. So
yeah.
I heard him say it.
You heard him say that?
I did.
Yeah, he's right. You got it. Mark with 2 out of 2.
Oh my God, this is like Bumgarner with 2 home runs for the Giants. He was their leading hitter.
Oh my gosh. And there's more excitement because you know what time it is, guys. It's time for the final question.
Question.
All right, final question. High-low. The closest without going over gets the 2 points, and it looks like there will be no overtime this evening. So, the order will go Will, Dustin, and Mark. Very exciting for Mark. All right. Here is your question. For Will, how many total points have the Seahawks scored against the Jaguars in all their history? How many total points have the Seahawks scored against the Jaguars?
You know, I figured you were going to ask this question, but unfortunately I only figured it out about 10 seconds ago. So I will just pull something out of thin air and go 245.
245. Dustin?
They haven't played a lot of times. Maybe maybe 10 times total?
Yeah, hey Dustin, this is math, by the way.
I know,
You're welcome.
210.
210. Mark, 245, 210.
You know what? I'm going to go lower, 209. I'm going the other way. I think it's low.
209,
yep.
210, 245. The actual number of points that the Seahawks have scored against the Jacksonville Jaguars is 212.
Oh!
Guess what? Mark went the wrong way and Dustin won. Congratulations, Dustin. Order that trophy, buddy.
Yep, I will now be participating in the second half.
There you go.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Well,
You're welcome.
so I would have had it gone above Dustin, but beneath Will. There was no way I was
If you
going
had
to do
211,
that.
you would have had it.
Well, there's
Yeah,
no way I
I
would have
said-
gone in the middle there. Or what?
Yeah, because I said 210. So
Right.
Yeah.
And then Will was 240 something, right?
Yeah. So if he'd say
Yeah,
211.
I didn't know if either one of you were anywhere. I wasn't going to go in between like two wild guesses. That's why I had to pick one or the other. So,
oh man.
Well, it was a great guess.
Yeah, way to go, Justin. Those were great guesses, guys. And what a great crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world.
Of the world. Congratulations, Dustin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be back with the second half of the show after this reading by the Reverend. Let's get some Church of Seahawk positivity up in here. But first, Skilo, take us out.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
And now it's time for a reading of Seahawk Positivity with the Reverend Moses.
Yes, it is I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church Seahawk Positivity. A reading from the book of the 2017 NFL season, chapter 13, verses 3 to 12. Triumphant at home, we do then head southward and arrive in the land of oranges and hurricanes. There in the land of palm trees did then they rise up, for there were cats that needed to be tamed, and tame them we most certainly shall do. We did then come upon those kitty cats, they shall not purr, for those within the one true power shall be lifted up, and the cats shall be swatted down, for woe is those to attempt to thwart those within the one true power of Seahawk positivity. This is the word with my brethren. Praise Largent, praise Kenny Easley, praise Cortez Kennedy, and go Hawks.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Hello, welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you throwing flags into the crowd. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a great game day thread. I've put up a couple funny little videos up. A lot of fun on there. So join us there and make us part of your Seahawk fix. Do it now before the ref throws his hat. Oh, it's too late. All right. Well, it's time for our Seahawks to hit the road, and that means that many Seahawk fans will travel as well. So here to guide our listeners with an inside scoop of all the really great sights to see is our 12-Man Fan Jam Show travel guide. Yes, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show travel guide, here to help you find those special out-of-the-way places when you travel with your football team. And this week is a trip to sunny and beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. So, when in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, be sure to visit the Jimmy Smith Drug and Gun Store. Look it up, kids. Yeah, that, right out of the bat. The Jacksonville Jaguar Kitty Litter Factory is another one. Hey, when you're in Jacksonville, be sure to visit the Leonard Skinner Flight School. I did it. I didn't want to do it, but there it is.
But you did it.
I had to. When you're in Jacksonville, Jaguars, don't go into Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a whole nother thing. When you're in Jacksonville, Florida, be sure to visit the John Grisham Pelican Reef. See, because he had a book. Yeah, some of you read.
Pelican Brief, yeah.
Yeah, and finally, when in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, be sure to visit the Tom Coughlin Grumpy Old Men Retirement Community. Because he's old! Thank you, Mom and Dad. All right. Now let's see how healthy these teams are by turning to our own doctor, Dr. Dustin, with the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news!
Doctor, give me the news! Doctor.
All right, well...
May I say I hope it's better than the travel guide, but go ahead.
No, it's never better than the travel guide or the weather report. So, just throwing that out there.
It will be, yes.
All right, so off the injury report, I'm going to start with the home side. First injury was this player was out. He had a tooth removed today. That would be Matt, obviously.
I hope you feel better, buddy.
Yeah, wishing him the best. Odeabushi is also out. He went to the IR today. That shoulder apparently is not something he's going to recover from, or his offensive line play is something he's going to recover from, so they got rid of him for the year. Either or. Yeah, and on a side note, when they said he was on the IR today, we're in the car, and the radio goes, "Ade Bushi's on the IR." My wife goes, "Did they just cuss at me? What did they say?" She had no idea who he was or what his name was. All right, now to be serious, Naj Jones is out as well. Unfortunately, his ankle's still bugging him. Apparently that was more serious than we thought it was. He's missing 2 games because of it. It was a Thursday injury in practice before the last game. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up again. Cam is out. We all know he's out. All right, and then the last player we have listed is he's Deion Jordan. He's got a neck injury. He's been dealing with that for a few games now. He's questionable, and that's an upgrade from where he's been, so that's a positive sign. I don't know that he'll make it into the game, but obviously he's trending up, which is good because we could use that guy, especially with Naj Jones being out because of that ankle. Switching teams here, we're going to the Jags. They have 3 injuries listed right now, but I added a 4th because I think it's pretty important too. One of their linebackers, pretty good player. He's out. Questionable, I apologize, because of a concussion. He's still going through the protocol. We're not sure if he's going to make it. Big one here, Jalen Ramsey is questionable. He has a hamstring injury. He's an excellent cornerback on that team. And even if he plays, he's going to be limited because of that hamstring. It could be a Earl Thomas situation where he's running around out there playing, and he pulls his hamstring. So, I mean, if they play him, he's not going to be 100%, and I think that's a definite advantage for us and our receivers. Mm-hmm. The next 2 are wide receivers for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Allen Hurns, he's out. Has an ankle injury. He's out. They have a terrible quarterback, in my opinion, in the first place in Blake Bortles. Mm-hmm. And you take away Allen Hurns, and then you throw Robinson in there, who's on the IR. 2 of his 3 best receivers, really all they have to throw to is Marquise Lee, and that is huge for the Seahawks. And then you throw in there their Fournette, their new running back.
Yeah.
And he's been battling an ankle injury for the past several games. Their offense is really, really hurting right now. Mm-hmm. Their weapons, the guys that they count on, they're not really available to do much. So that's huge for the Seahawks. Plays in our favor pretty well.
Good.
And that's essentially it for the injuries.
Good. Very good. Good stuff there. Usually this is a time that we turn the weather and fashion over to a guy living in Europe. But tonight we're going to turn it over to a guy living in Indiana. So it's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Moses. Oh, Moses! It's raining man. Yes, thank you very much, B. Hey, everyone. This is the Moses Weather Report and Fashion Report. First, the weather report for sunny, beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. 4 p.m. game is going to be 54 degrees Fahrenheit. We're not going to do Celsius because we're not in England. Sunny and 54 should be perfect weather for football. Unfortunately for Jacksonville Jaguar fans, it's terrible weather to use that lovely pool they have in their stadium. Yes, that's what I said. They have a pool in their stadium. Because, there's nothing like going to a football game, folks. Then, do they have a pool, and can I go hang out at the pool during the football game? That's something I always think of when I go to Jacksonville for a football game, or to go to any football game. Hey, I don't want to stand and cheer for my team. I want to go hang out at the pool. Is there a pool I can hang out with? Well, sorry guys, you're not going to be able to wear your banana hammocks this week because it's going to be 54 degrees, and we all know about shrinkage, so we might as well leave that out. So if you're going to the Jacksonville, Florida game in Jacksonville, Florida for the Seahawks and the Jaguars, unfortunately, you're probably not going to be able to wear your swimwear. And I know it's a bummer for many of you Jacksonville Jaguar fans because, like I said, there's nothing better than going to a home game and hanging out at the pool the whole time. So sorry to bum you out on that, folks, but I guess you'll have to just watch the game. I don't know what to tell you. So.
You know what they should totally do with that? They should put that chemical in there to where somebody pees in that pool, it changes the color of the pool, and put that on TV. That'd be pretty awesome. That is entertainment for that pool.
It has to change the color to teal.
Yeah, basically.
Color rush chemical.
I'm sorry. How desperate do you have to be for fans to put a pool into your stadium? I don't know.
I'm just glad Seattle didn't do that. That'd be awfully
Oh,
yippee.
God. Yeah, it would. And there's a stadium that the Mariners played at a couple years ago. On a side note, is hilarious because dude hit a home run into the pool, and the announcer's like, "Oh, we got a floater."
Nice.
Yikes.
Didn't realize what he was saying.
No. So sorry, probably not much pool time for the game. Sorry to bum you all out. You might have to watch football. Okay. At this time in the third quarter, we usually get a question from our friend Jose, and he did send us another question because Jose wants to know.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Yes, Jose's question of the week is this, gentlemen. I'll start with Statsman Mark. Hey, he says, if the Seahawks win the NFC Western Division, does that give Russell Wilson the MVP? So if they win the division, do you think Russell should get the MVP? What say you, Statsman Mark?
Oh, I mean, he's had a heck of a year. I think Russell Wilson's problem is that Washington is on the West Coast and not the East Coast. I mean, it's the politicking goes on. He is so well. I mean, especially he literally is. He's the offense. Well, I mean, he is the MVP of the team, and he can make a strong case. Him get it. Going to win. Keeping in mind what typically happens in the NFL, boy, I think it's less than 50-50, unfortunately, because he just always seems to go with something on the other side of the Mississippi, east side.
So you're kind of
He
pessimistic.
should win.
Will,
I don't think he'll get it. He deserves it. I don't think he'll actually be awarded it one way or another. They'll screw him out.
Give
of
it to Brady or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always going to be some kind of thing.
Will, what's your thoughts?
I think the only way Russell Wilson gets voted MVP, I think he deserves it. Let me get that out there. And I think he should win it, but I think the only way he does is if they don't just win the division, but run the table and has 4 more games like the one we just saw. I mean, he's going to have to seriously just throw down. But I think it's going to go to Wentz or it's going to go to Brady because they're on the East Coast and we're not. But I don't think Russell
when do
Wilson
they
really
vote?
cares.
When do they vote? Does anybody know? Is it after the last game or?
I think it's after the last game and before the first playoff game, I want to say.
Dustin,
Pretty sure, yeah.
Dustin, what's your thought?
Well, my thought is, first of all, they have to make the playoffs. That has to happen, or he will not be the MVP. Other than that, he went head-to-head with Carson Wentz, and he beat him. So I think he's got to be one up on Carson Wentz as far as the MVP voting goes. And if they're looking at it from a purely football, like not biased at all, which is hard to. I know everybody's going to kind of with that because it's probably not going to happen. But if you look at it, he's thrown 15 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He has the highest rating if he finishes it at this high at the end of the season, 134 QBR in the fourth quarter. Nobody's ever done that. He doesn't have much of an offensive line. Everybody knows that. He's out there running for his life, making plays people aren't supposed to be able to make, and lighten everything up. They have had no run game. They lost Cam Chancellor. They lost Richard Sherman. So he's the team right now. He's accountable for, 85% of the offense, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, you can't ignore those numbers.
No.
He's having an MVP season, and I think that Russell Wilson, if he stays on par with what he's been doing, I don't think he has to be better. I think he has to stay on par, and they have to win games and make the playoffs. I think he will be the MVP because there's just – you can't ignore some of the things he's doing. It's historically good. It's not – yeah, Tom Brady's Tom Brady, and he's got the name, and he's on the East Coast, but he's not doing what Russell Wilson's doing. Carson Wentz already lost to Russell, so I don't see how it could be anybody but Russell if he stays on par.
Yeah. For me, I think it just depends on how these next 4 games go for everybody. For Brady, for Wilson, for Breeze, for Wentz, for Goff, for anybody that's in that. I think it's too early to say. You can't just say if they win the West, he gets the MVP. I think it's going to be what numbers, like you said. I think Will said, how these next 4 play out. Not just for him, but for everybody. And, if he continues to play, obviously he's our MVP. I think that's an easy choice for any Seahawk fan and for most people. And he will get votes regardless. But I think you have to wait and see how the entire, not just him, but how does Brady finish? How does Wentz finish? How do all these other guys finish? And then you put them together and you make your vote. Just for him to be in the argument for me is flattery enough to be nominated, and he will be. He'll be part of a short list of people who will be nominated at the end of the year. So we'll just have to see. I think winning the NFC West isn't good enough. I think he has to run the table, be impressive, and I think Wentz and Brady have to be less impressive than he is. Simple as that. So. And
for the record, I think Bobby Wagner is just as deserving of winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. So
I agree.
In a perfect world, both guys would win.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right. That is the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Coming up next, our predictions, prognostications, and game balls for the Jaguars game. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Nothing special, really. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, hello. It's time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. That's for Matt. You're welcome. In this quarter, we make our predictions, prognostications, and our game balls for the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and those Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville on Sunday, 1:25 Seattle time. Let's look at the numbers. For our purposes, Seattle is a 3-point underdog, and the over-under is right now at 39.5 for our purposes. Quick disclaimer, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting on anything at any time, unless your statsman Mark. Please do not take these or anything else we say on this show ever seriously. All right. Let's look at Team 12's picks first, and there are Team 12's picks as you see them in front of you. We start with Jose. Score 27-16. A little worried. This might be a trap game because their defense is pretty good, but the quarterback is Blake Bortles, so I'm not that worried. Prognostication, Lockett gets a touchdown, kickoff return, game ball to Wagner, because I can't give it to Russell Wilson every week. The rest of you should listen to him. Tom, I don't think it'll be an easy game for the Hawks because the Jags are improved defensively. I think Ifedi will be a revolving door in this game. Yeah, we know that. I think we have the tools to beat them, but maybe not handily. I think this will be a defensive struggle, and turnovers could be the key. Hawks win 2014. Prognostication, Griffin will get an interception, and it'll come down to Wilson, so Wilson gets his game ball. Little Mo, 24-14 Seahawks. The Seahawks will have more sacks than Saxonville, he said, and Wilson his game ball. Mark Ty Turner, this should be interesting. We caught a huge break when the NFL moved it to a later start. Jacksonville will seem like a foreign territory since the Hawks haven't been there since opening day 2005. We're 2-2 in that town. Hawks win 17-10. Welcome back, Myron Maxwell. You'll pick off Bortles twice, which is his prognostication. Game ball to Wagner. Mike Pascal, Seattle 23, Jacksonville 19. Prognostication, finally a rushing touchdown. I think he means from a running back. I'm going to hold on to that. And game ball, Earl Thomas. All right. Matt wrote in and said, hey, the Jags are not the same team we're used to seeing, but I think the result will be too familiar for them. A Seahawk win. Seahawks win 28-14. Game ball to Wilson because he is the team right now. And prognostication, Wilson will scramble for a touchdown. Okay, Will. What do you got for us, sir?
I think it's going to be an ugly grind of a game, but hey, we win ugly. So we're going to do that again here. Because I tell you what, I have a lot more faith in Russell Wilson than I do Blake Bortles. So I am going to say Seahawks 17, Jaguars 9.
Woo.
My game ball is going to Frank Clark, who I think will have 3 sacks.
Woo!
That being my prognostication.
Pronunciation. Statsman Mark.
Oh. Well, let's see now. Boy, this game. You know, I get it. I got a good feeling on it, and it got moved, and we're just flat out a better team than Jacksonville. So I got this one 30-20. I think that Baldwin will have over 100 yards receiving. And I'm going to give my game ball to Baldwin.
Who'd you give it
to? Baldwin, I'm sorry.
Oh, to Baldwin. Okay.
That's Doug Baldwin.
Yeah. Not Alec Baldwin. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Baldwin.
Dustin.
Doug Baldwin. Shaken, not stirred.
The other one deserves an Emmy.
Yeah, really. Dustin.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I'm not as fired up as I was last week because I feel like this is a game the Seahawks should win. And I like whoever said they've got the tools, I think it was they said, and it reminded me of Ghostbusters Winston. We got the tools, we got the talent, and we got the quarterback. So I think the Seahawks are going to win this game. I think it's going to be...
Wait. It's Miller time. Okay,
there you go. I think they're going to win probably like 28-9, I'm going to say.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be that close. We're going to have 2 rushing touchdowns this game, not counting Russell Wilson. So I think it's going to be probably Mike Davis or McKissick are going to get a couple of rushing touchdowns is my guess.
Nice.
And, dude, it's going to be a good game. Game ball, I'll go ahead and give it to Davis, man. We got to get him rolling.
There you go.
Yep. I hope so.
It. I like it a lot. All right, my turn. Well, what a great game last week, but no time to celebrate because this Sunday it is time to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, that's a phrase that up to this season was like saying it was a bye week, but not this year. They're 8-4 and they are home, and they might be ready to challenge the AFC, but they are not ready to challenge the NFC. Watch as the Seahawks D holds the NFL leading rushing team to less than 100 yards rushing for the game. That's my prognostication. Watch my game ball. Frank Clark destroy Blake Bortles. How can you be considered an NFL contender when you have a pool in your stadium? Get back in the pool.
Moses.
You're not ready. The Seahawks win by a score of Seahawks 27, Jaguars 17. Or Jaguars 17. Jaguars. Well, it looks like it's time to bring another wonderful 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us before the game, after the game, during the game, whenever you watch this. And we hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something. What did we learn on this show? Well, we learned that Doug Marrone is full of baloney. We learned that some Washington Redskins could take a shot. We learned Mark blew a gasket.
In his head.
Mark can't sing the high notes on Ebony and Ivory.
Perfect. That was beautiful, man.
And we also learned that Dustin has a wonderful cat. So,
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, my partner in crime, Matt, who's not here. Matt, we hope you return soon. New Sound Shadowhawk Will, Zasman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mozette, Little Mo, Mark Brunel, Keenan McCardle, Sheila McRae, Art Carney. Good night, everybody. Go Hawks.
Go
Hawks.
A pool in their stadium. I mean, seriously.
Wait till they get a load of me. Well, Seattle.